Albus Dumbledore is a complex character. He is wise yet whimsical, magically powerful but emotionally vulnerable, deeply compassionate but also a calculating chess master who manipulates everyone. Dumbledore also happens to be gay. While J.K. Rowling couldn't find room to squeeze that detail into any of the 7 lengthy Harry Potter books, despite the fact that Harry and Hermione literally spend a chapter reading Dumbledore's biography, she confirmed his sexuality after the last book was published, saying, "I always thought of Dumbledore as gay." A generous interpretation of Rowling's post-canonical outing of Dumbledore is that she is so progressive that she included a major gay character in her fantasy universe and didn't even make a big deal out of it. The cynical interpretation is that Rowling was afraid that having an openly gay character might hurt sales of her books and is getting credit for creating a gay character without actually taking the risk of making him explicitly gay. When it was announced that the Fantastic Beasts movies would include a young Dumbledore hunting the evil wizard he once loved, Grindelwald, it seemed like we'd finally get to see gay Dumbledore in all of his glory. Unfortunately, director David Yates recently stated that Dumbledore would not be explicitly gay in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to missed opportunities for LGBTQ representation in the wizarding world. To be fair, this is a problem in pretty much every big-budget cinematic universe. There are characters and relationships that are coded as queer, but nothing is ever explicit.
When did you first know you were
a mutant?
But the lack of explicit representation feels especially egregious in the Potterverse because the central theme of those stories is the power of love and acceptance. Furthermore, many aspects of the wizarding world directly parallel LGBTQ culture and history in a way that Rowling's continued use of queer subtext without explicit queer representation is not only textbook queerbaiting, but verges on cultural appropriation. Yikes. One of the most compelling aspects of Harry Potter's story is how he grows up sad and alone until the day he learns he is actually a wizard. While the trope of a hero who grows up without knowledge of their true identity is well worn, the specifics of Harry's journey of self-discovery code it as queer. Even before Harry understands why, the Dursleys verbally and emotionally abuse Harry for not being normal. They also literally force him to live in a closet. Sadly, this is a daily reality for many LGBTQ youth growing up with homophobic and transphobic families. The Dursleys also go to extreme lengths to try and prevent Harry from learning about his identity. This parallels how many gay youth of Harry's generation were denied access to LGBTQ resources because of Section 28. After learning he is a wizard, the first place Harry goes is a bar just for wizards. Despite being the entrance to a magical place, the entrance to the Leaky Cauldron is totally nondescript to fool the muggles. This is also a common feature of gay bars from times or places where anti-LGBTQ discrimination is prevalent. Hagrid then leads Harry to the back room to show him the real magic, Diagon Alley. A secret neighborhood of specialty shops catering to the needs of the wizarding community, this place is just a few rainbow flags short of being a gayborhood. As Harry starts to meet other wizards, he doesn't just befriend them, he adopts them into his family of choice. Despite growing up sad and isolated, Harry develops strong bonds with all kinds of wizards. This family of choice is what gets Harry through the difficult trials he endures throughout the series. Unfortunately, he still has to go back and live with the Dursleys every summer, who continue to try and repress Harry's wizardness, leading to Harry running away on multiple occasions. According to a recent report by Chapin Hall, LGBTQ youth are more than twice as likely to experience homelessness than heterosexual cisgendered youth. There are lots of other small ways in which it's possible to read Harry as queer. He repeatedly ditches female dates to spend more time with Ron. He spends a lot of time reading the diaries of teenage boys, and he and Draco have undeniable chemistry. But let's shift our focus to some other characters. Remus Lupin is a werewolf. Or more precisely, he has the chronic disease lycanthropy, and if he doesn't take his meds, bad things happen. Rowling has stated that she wrote Lupin's lycanthropy as a metaphor for, quote, illnesses that carry a stigma, like HIV and AIDS, end quote. Though anyone can contract HIV, gay and bisexual men account for approximately 50% of new diagnoses in the UK, while representing only 2% of the population. When his status as a lycanthrope is outed by Snape, Lupin resigns because
parents will not want someone like me teaching their children.
But there are still many places where it is legal to fire a teacher or other employees solely on the basis of their sexuality, forcing LGBTQ teachers to hide in the closet. Lupin also has a very close relationship with Sirius Black, which many readers have interpreted as more than platonic, as they do practically everything in perfect harmony. They live together at 12 Grimmauld Place, host a Christmas party together, and give Harry a joint present, because they're a couple. After Sirius dies, Lupin ends up marrying Tonks, and the two have a child together. Now, many people have used Lupin's relationship with Tonks to try and prove that he isn't queer, but it actually doesn't prove this because, number one, bisexuals exist, and number two, Tonks is totally genderqueer. Tonks can change her appearance at will, and prefers to go by her surname instead of the more feminine Nymphadora. In addition to Lupin's love, Sirius and Tonks also share the queer marker of being totally estranged from their bigoted blood relatives. It's easy to read Lupin and Tonks as straight because that's the default assumption, and none of this is explicit, but that reading also ignores what makes each of these characters unique. And while we're at it, another default assumption that's worth challenging is that all these characters are white, just because they were in the movies. For instance, the casting of Noma Dumezweni as Hermione in The Cursed Child led to J.K. Rowling publicly supporting the idea of a black Hermione. Personally, I like to retroactively cast Susan Wokoma as Hermione. It helps ease the pain of knowing that Lavender Brown was originally played by a black actor when she was just in the background, but when she became Ron's girlfriend, she was suddenly white. Of course, the Wizarding world does not end with the original 7 books. 2016 treated Potterheads to not one, but 2 new additions to the universe in the form of the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and the movie Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Fantastic Beasts has the character of Credence Barebone. Credence is of magical heritage, but is raised by an anti-magic fanatic who abuses him in order to suppress his magical abilities. This abuse leads to Credence developing an Obscurus, a destructive magical creature that feeds on the repressed magic of its host, and usually kills its host at a young age. It is a potent metaphor for how abuse and lack of acceptance can lead to youth suicide. LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide. Credence also has a creepy relationship with Grindelwald, who meets with him in alleys and manipulates Credence by giving him hope for the future and then cruelly taking that hope away. The Cursed Child begins 19 years after the end of the Deathly Hallows, with Harry sending his son Albus off to Hogwarts. Once at Hogwarts, Albus is sorted into Slytherin and befriends Scorpius, the son of Draco Malfoy. Over the course of the play, Albus and Scorpius develop an intense relationship. Their relationship is so strong that it cannot be destroyed even when one of them is erased from reality by time travel. One section of the play shows them staring longingly at each other after Harry forces them apart, and the play also charts the progression of their hugs from one-sided to full embraces. Sadly, at the very end of the play, there's a big no homo moment where Scorpius is pursuing Rose Granger. Sorry, Albus, maybe next time they'll let you have a boyfriend. Which brings us back to Dumbledore. J.K. Rowling has given us hope that Dumbledore will someday be explicitly portrayed as the majestic, complicated, queer character that he is. Time will tell if our remaining faith in her is misplaced or not. In the meantime, if you're looking for queer characters in a fantasy series geared towards kids and young adults, I highly recommend checking out Steven Universe and The Legend of Korra. Let me know in the comments if you have your own magical queer fantasy recommendations. Hey, I'm Dave from Deeply Geeky, and thanks for watching my video all the way to the end. If you got at least $1 of enjoyment out of this video, please take the time to support Deeply Geeky on Patreon. There's a link in the video description where you can see all of our reward tiers and choose the one that's right for you. We've got several cool perks. You can get early access to videos, vote on upcoming topics, and also join a live stream of our podcast. Our next podcast episode will be going even into more depth on Harry Potter and queer subtext with our guest Andrew Sims from MuggleCast. So please tune in for that. Thank you for watching and stay geeky.